Okay, guys, it's our news segment of the week, our Multiverse Minute, even just 45 minutes. So I'm going to start this sucker off, guys, with the first. We're going to do a little review, a mini review of this. So X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 4, called Rise of Apocalypse Part 2. An alliance between the X-Men and En-Sabah Nur begins to crumble as Ramatut seeks ultimate power. That's the whole gist of the episode in a nutshell, officially released by Marvel. Now let's talk about it. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Like,
It's good.
he is. Wow. What are your thoughts, Ike?
So here's my thoughts. First of all, the stuff between Magneto and Xavier's so good. I love the conversations. I love that it's almost like Magneto's Xavier at this point, but Xavier's so good about knowing what the right thing to do is, and sometimes the right thing to do is not change something that's going to become real bad because there could be different repercussions from that. And Magneto's just doing his typical, but this is the time to make a difference, and I'm going to do something now. And here you are, you got this now. It's almost like in doing so with this episode, and spoiler alert if y'all haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to talk about some of the stuff. It's at the end of this episode, it's almost like Magneto may have been responsible for creating such an evil guy, or such a guy that's got so much hate in him. Because now the truth is out, and it's all, and Apocalypse is pissed, and they're in the middle of a battle, and then this guy does his thing on top of it. So it's like there's a lot going on here, and I like this. I like the characters. I like the man. There's some blood in this and everything. Like they went all out. Like, and I do enjoy this show a lot. It tells me more that man, we needed to see this young version of Apocalypse. I think it's so cool, and it also tells me that if you're gonna do an eventual movie that is kind of like an Avengers, X-Men versus Apocalypse, do a two-parter with a young Apocalypse versus the Apocalypse in the future. Like in that sense of where we get to see that dynamic, because to me, it's almost like this is a good formula. This would work
hands
really,
down.
really well, in that kind of setting. So it just, I don't really have much more to say about it other than that. It's still great. Gives me the feels. I like seeing these characters that I feel like I'm watching the old show again, but yet still with a fresh take, and yeah, I'm going to stand by my statement. This would make adapting this storyline with a little bit of maybe some twists and turns for fun to do something different into a live action thing would be so awesome. Man, I'd be for it so fast. Like,
I gotta tell you what, the thing that I loved about this episode is they made it very clear, no matter how it was gonna go down, Apocalypse was destined to become the Apocalypse that you know of from the comics and that they know of from the future. It didn't matter if it was Magneto leading him that way or whatever, because it looks like the Celestials had that technology there, and they prophesied Xavier and Magneto there with him on the hieroglyphics. So whether they were going to stumble upon it intentionally, like in this episode, they purposely go right to it, thinking, oh, this can help them. And then when they get there, it's the slow realization of, oh my God, this is Apocalypse's ship. We led him right to his ultimate weapon, and in his ultimate weapon is what he's supposed to be. It wouldn't have mattered if Magneto actually did trick him to go in there or not, because I think that Magneto definitely he toes that line of, I'm either going to lead you to become what you are going to be, or his intentions are noble, but they don't turn out that way, because that's kind of like Magneto's MO is kind of like that too.
Yes.
Where his intentions are, we want peace, but it's how you get about it. And
it's
I
always
think
a problem with
yes, exactly. And he and Xavier kind of want the same thing. It's just they don't know how they don't tackle it the same way. And that's why you've always have him, Magneto, as like this. Yes, he's a bad guy, but at the end of the day, he's not that bad. You know what I mean?
Especially in this.
He's not vicious.
Yeah, right.
He's just my way or the highway. And my way is going to get you to that destination the same way Xavier's is. But Xavier is going the longer route around that's longer lasting. Whereas Magneto is right there directly, shove it down your throat, and who cares if it lasts or not? I'm going to make it last.
Well, because like you kind of said about Magneto before in our retros of a lot of stuff we talked about, or the X-Men stuff, is he's looking at this uh, through a survival
Yeah.
lens, when Xavier's looking at it through a different lens,
Yeah.
but in Magneto, it's like, if there's an opportunity to make a difference, I
Mhm.
gotta do it when it's there.
Mhm.
Hence Days of Future Past, trying to kill Mystique. Of
Yep.
course he's gonna do that. It makes sense for him because
Mhm.
he's like, "Look, if she's gone, they never make the Sentinels at all."
Yeah.
And it's like, he's not wrong, but is not? Like, he's still kinda wrong, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely, yeah, in the cartoon versions, I'll be honest, the movie versions, Xavier is much more persuasive because you gotta, because Magneto can be a little scary in the movies. Like, I've personally, I'd be more persuaded by Xavier than Magneto personally in the movies.
Mhm.
But in the cartoon, I gotta tell you, they do a great job at, if I was in Sabanor, I'd be listening to Magneto too. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, Magneto's impressive. He's up there hovering,
Yep.
white bearded Gandalf looking son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, dude, this guy knows his things. Look at his power. He knows his things. Like, I'm gonna listen to him. There's other guys in a chair that, wait a minute, are these invented yet? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's literally
That's
he's
funny.
literally looking at something. I mean, the chair definitely does not look like it fits into the time period, and nobody says anything about it. Like,
I didn't even notice that till now. No one's like, "What is this?"
which is cool. But like, yeah, no one's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because, to them back then, like, when you're hurt like that, I don't think they had wheelchairs. Maybe they did. I don't know. We'll have to look it up. Comment below. Let us know. The Egyptians had wheelchairs. I don't know.
Yeah.
We
Well,
don't know what the pyramids are for.
either way, they weren't like this
Yeah,
wheelchair.
his wheelchair definitely does not look like it's from there at all.
He's
But they
got the
didn't even
'90s
disguise it.
wheelchair.
I'm surprised it's not floating and
Yeah.
nobody says nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's Xavier's not very persuasive in this. He's
Mhm.
actually more scared, and
Mhm.
which is interesting though, because I think it's going to play a lot later.
Yeah.
I think Magneto's going to be humbled, and Xavier's going to have to be a little more militant as we go.
Well,
It's going to be interesting to see how that goes down.
I'm glad you point that out because I feel like they did that intentionally.
Yep.
Magneto is a little more bolder than Xavier is, and Xavier, I think he's letting the fact that this is young Apocalypse kind of play in the back of his brain whenever he's talking to him and he's deciding what to do and what not to do and things like that because it's Magneto's taking that bold approach of we can change him, we can fix him, we can be able to make this a better future and we can do it now. Where Xavier is hesitant because he knows what Apocalypse is going to do in the future. And so he doesn't want to rock the boat and make unintentionally push him over the edge.
Which
So
is funny because you
yeah,
almost think it's the reversal of that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and I see it, but I think him letting Xavier letting that overthinking basically come in the way of that, it's just gonna what we found out in this episode, it's gonna happen the way it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I will say a couple of my standout moments, and one of them is actually on the screen right now. I love Rogue's conversation, but guys,
Yeah.
we're playing it in the background,
That's
so
my
just
favorite
so you know.
moment too.
His conversation, or Rogue's conversation with Sabanur about loving someone and being able to
Mhm.
have a love. And he talks about how no one's ever loved him. His mother cast him aside. His people
Mhm.
cast him aside. He is an outcast. And so he finds love as a weakness and all that stuff. I love when Rogue says, well, I do hope for your sake I hope you find someone for all of our sakes. She literally just says that for all of
Mhm.
our sakes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Be like, if you can say that's him for all of our sakes, you better find some love, okay? You better find you a wife because otherwise you're going to come after us. But,
And it's funny because Xavier, sometimes he looks at him
mm,
in this, and like, even in a cartoon, I see some of the nuances
yeah.
where he's kind of looking at him like, I'm afraid of you. He's
Yes.
like, you are a scary guy.
Yes.
And it's like, you could tell that it's in the room is heavy.
Yep.
The thing with the Rogue scene, this, why it's my standout moment too?
Mm-hmm.
Because scenes like that, when we get further in this show
Mm-hmm.
and we see the future Apocalypse do some terrible things,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to see that he's had some history with people, and it's going to, the feels are going to be there more than you've
Yep.
ever had before. They're doing, that's what I would do with a movie version.
Mm-hmm.
I would have that first Avengers X-Men versus Apocalypse movie with, Avengers with the X behind it,
Yep.
Apocalypse. At the first one would be them trying to convince young Apocalypse to be good.
Yep.
And then you have all these awesome moments of heart to hearts or the conversation like they just had, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
or Xavier even is like, maybe there is hope here. Then when you
Yep.
get to the next one and he kills someone like Rogue for the hell of it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, man, you remember that conversation they had? And it's
Yep.
like the evilness of that and the meanness of that. the tragic of that would be just like,
Mhm.
guys, pure entertainment. We would just be
Yes.
it would engulf us. They're getting us set up for that, for the cartoon at least, for sure.
Yeah.
Having these good moments where you like this guy, and I like that scene with them,
Mhm.
and then so later when he beats Rogan to the ground,
Mhm.
it's like we're gonna remember, man, remember that scene around the fire they had?
Yep.
It's like, whoa, it's messed up. Like, it's just
They
emotional. Like,
I'm happy that Marvel actually is doing it, and when this is something we touched upon in our last episode about this, because they're already showing what they could do with the X-Men,
yes,
that it makes me anticipate how we're gonna see the live action versions just to see, is it gonna mimic this a little bit? Are they gonna take the best parts of this and put it in there? Because this show proves they can make Apocalypse be the next Thanos and be deeper
or
than
bigger.
Thanos.
Yeah,
Yes, bigger than Thanos, more evil than Thanos, deeper than Thanos.
and more personal,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
why it makes it so good. It's why it's being an X-Men themed thing. The more personal you get, the more drama you're gonna get, and that's what makes
Yep.
X-Men so good. Yeah, still have a lot more optimism than me. I feel like these departments don't talk to each other enough, and I think they need to.
That could
I
be.
think some of
Yeah.
the
I
problem with
mean,
the other shows we have is because there wasn't a lot of, well, hey, why don't you make sure this and this because this is what's going on over here.
mhm,
I'm hoping that these guys who's writing this are kind of
mm,
whispering to the guys who are putting together the X-Men movie, or at least maybe they're
mhm.
watching the show, realizing, hey, remember, if we have a question of
Yeah.
a character, maybe what we should do, tap into all your resources that work for you because these guys know what they're talking about right
Mhm.
now. This is great.
Well, I think what you just said is you tapped into something that was a problem, phase 4, 5, and 6. I think they were shoveling out so much and getting in production so many things
Yeah.
that they don't realize any character growth or development from one movie or project to the next, and it's falling flat. And people weren't talking to each other because people like Kevin Feige, who usually could be the maestro behind the scenes of doing all this, he's pulled in 5 different directions.
Yeah.
And so somewhere a ball is going to drop. And when it does, you're going to see it in your box office, in your reception, in everything.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
anyways, so just to move on from that and to get this topic a little bit wrapped up a little bit, let's talk about that end of it. Unless there's
Yeah.
something right before that you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I, one thing, I yelled at the screen when Apocalypse is about to touch the gem. And I'm like, Xavier, hit him with your mind. He does it later. You do it too late. Oh my gosh. I literally was yelling at the screen. I'm like, you're just laying there, Xavier, watching him do it. And then after he touches it, he decides, no, I'm going to get in your mind. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you are
What were
too
you
late.
waiting for? Yeah.
What the heck?
Mhm.
Anyways, that was a pet peeve of mine. I get their creative choice in doing it, but I was literally yelling at the TV like, "Do it! You know you could do it!" And then when they do it 2 minutes later, I'm like, "You're too late!
Yeah, what the heck, man?
What in the world?" Anyways, so that point aside, I did like the touching moment of Magneto said, "I promise I'm gonna get you into the future," and he does, and he says, "I'm gonna fix this mess," because he feels the responsibility and the weight of bringing Apocalypse there and having Apocalypse realize his prophecy type thing. And then Xavier grabs Magneto's cape and holds on and
Oh,
stays.
yeah, yeah,
That was cool.
yeah.
That was pretty cool. But also the very end when Apocalypse goes full on Apocalypse and he's got that big animated grin from the old 90s show, which this is that old 90s show, but it's modern old. If you get what I mean, continuation, but 20 years later.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then what he does to Magneto, that was bold.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That, and every moment of that is like, whoa, what? Like it's almost slow motion. And you're wondering, how is he going to do it? Is he going to crush him? Then he turns it into a gun. I'm like, oh my. Then when he starts to do the blast and you see a skeleton, I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah. It's
They
pretty
went
wild.
there.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. That was the one moment that I'm like, he is scary.
He's very scary.
Yes. And I will give a compliment to this version of the show. And we've talked about this before. I know Ike and I should say have talked about this before. Putting the 90s animated Apocalypse into a live action movie would not have worked because he is so bombastic, so over the top, and at times a little too comedic and a little too egotistical that it works for a cartoon, But when we saw Oscar Isaac's performance, we're like, that's exactly how he should be.
Yes.
This version of Apocalypse, it blends both the Oscar Isaac tone and the 90s tone in a beautiful marriage between each other. Where, yes, Oscar Isaac could put on this type of performance. And I can see this as a live action. And I think a lot more of the fans of both of those iterations of him would love this.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a fan who loves the Oscar Isaac version because I understand the meaning of Oscar Isaac's version. I understand the depth of it that a lot of people glaze over. When we get to that X-Men special retrospective of X-Men Apocalypse, you guys better watch and listen to it because I'm going to tell you every little bit about why that is one of the best movies they ever made, hands down. And Apocalypse is the biggest reason why. But we're going to get there, folks. And if you don't like what I said, please stick with us because I will tell you as we go along. But
yeah, I still think Tom Hardy is the young version of him would be, especially when you look at the stuff in this. Like I feel like Tom would play this part so well. What a great role for him to be in that.
Yeah,
he all big and stuff. But yeah, no, either way, yeah, guys, we'll move on because we could talk for a long time. I love this stuff here too. It's so
Oh, and
he's scary. He's a scary individual.
Yes. He is intimidating to look at, and I could picture when you put that in live action, how he'd look. Oh my gosh, he will creep you out just standing there.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of praise to the artwork in this season's turned out to be pretty darn good. Like I like that they set the stage with season 1 and kind of like, yeah, it was good. It was good. It was X-Men. But now it's like they're just like, oh yeah, well here's what we got. And it's like, what? It's like,
you can tell they took their time with this, and I appreciate that because it's masterful.
It really
it's great.
Yeah.
And then the Ramatut thing, the finding out that Ramatut's he's like, he's like, you know what? It was destined to be Apocalypse anyways. I'm just going to go away.
Yeah.
You didn't have to beat him. It just had to get Apocalypse to this stage of being Apocalypse. Exactly.
Like, okay, guy. Thanks.
Yeah. So anyways, and then, Magneto's death scene, Xavier's dialogue afterwards.
That's some of the stuff I'm talking about that I love.
I'm trying to remember the exact wording, but he says something like, your mother made the wisest choice in abandoning you. Like, he went dark. Xavier went super dark.
He did.
Like, darker than I think that I've ever heard Xavier go. In those couple dialogues. He
hates him.
Yes.
Like, if there's a more, like this, I like that they're making Apocalypse his mortal enemy in this.
Yes.
Which they kind of did in the movie, too.
They did.
With Oscar Isaacs. Like,
they did. Yes.
The whole idea of what's going on there. Like, it was this.
I feel
when
like
they're up on the mountain and that, and he's like, he realizes he's like the most powerful.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, I'm going to use you. And he's just like, oh man, this guy. Like, anyways, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. I feel like, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing about the X-Men Apocalypse movie, but I feel like this show captured the emotional depth of Xavier a little more so than the movie. But of course, the movie, when you get to that point, it's a little fast-paced, all that stuff. So that's totally forgiven. I understand. But I can see James McAvoy giving that same exact dialogue and performance to him.
Yeah, if he had killed darkness.
Yes, if he had killed Magneto in that last scene before Phoenix and all that stuff come out, he would have said those exact hands down. I'm glad we did get to see it though, because now we get to see the potential of what could be type thing.
Yeah, I'm not happy Magneto's dead.
No, but
he's my man.
Is he dead?
Yeah, well, that's true.
That version of him is dead.
That's true.
That's the thing about these. But anyways,
but it's like, let him. It's okay if he does.
Yeah.
And to me, it just makes Apocalypse even.
I was gonna say it sets the tone for who Apocalypse is, and you needed something like that to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So, anyways, any more? Do you want to add to this?
Great. I can't wait for the next parts of this.
Yeah, I'm excited for that post-credits or that teaser scene. Yeah, it was a post-credit scene of Wolverine meeting with Captain America and Black Widow. And Black Widow's outfit, oh Lord have mercy. But it is comic accurate, so I'll give it to them. But part of me is looking, I'm like, oh, the pixie haircut and that white outfit. Who designed that?
Yeah.
Anyways, but question is for you guys. What did you think of X-Men 97, Season 2, Episode 4, this Rise of Apocalypse Part 2? Did you like it as much as we did? Do you see the potential of this being a live adaptation version and how cool it could be? And what do you think about Apocalypse in general? Let us know in the comments below.
All right.
Okay, I take it away for our next one.
All right, guys. So our next one is let's talk about how much Spider-Man might actually be worth. All right, guys. So Hey, America, can't go see Spider-Man in IMAX. Or that's I'm talking. That's the next.
I was
I'm
gonna
sorry,
say,
guys. That was a rumor one. I saw Spider-Man. It's been on my mind about them maybe selling it. We're gonna talk about the IMAX situation with Spider-Man. Whew. It's well that I was looking over here as distract. You guys know how it goes. Anyways,
it's okay.
yes. So hey, America, everybody out there in the YouTube's land, India, America, China. I don't think anyone in China's watching this. Can't go see Spider-Man in IMAX, yet want a unique and immersive experience. We all do, especially Spider-Man, but it's real cool. Well, it appears that Brand New Day will make cinema history as the first film entry shot in a 270-degree panoramic format, making Screen X the ideal movie experience.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I did not know any of this until a pull up on,
Me too.
and I'm looking into this, and I'm like, holy smokes!
Yeah.
So I was not too familiar with ScreenX 2. I think you've heard about it,
I've
maybe,
heard
or
about it, but I never have dove into it. You know what I mean?
yep.
Like I'm like, what is this all about?
Yeah, so we have pictures on the video version of this, guys, by the way,
Yeah.
that's to my left or right, wherever the heck it is. And you get to see what it is. So like it says, so Screen X is a 270-degree panoramic format of a movie. So you have your screen in front of you, and then literally you look to your left and to your right, and it's still the movie, which is kind of cool. But the problem is, all the movies up until this point, they have added those side views post-production. So you're not really you're seeing like the landscape of New York City, but you're not seeing little other things going on.
Mm.
This movie in particular, for some reason, not only is it filmed for IMAX, of course, because I did film this for IMAX. Everything nowadays is almost filmed for IMAX, but they specifically filmed this for Screen X2. So if you're going to watch it and like he said in the beginning, like I said in the beginning, America, we can't get the IMAX version of this at least for the first weekend.
Yeah, at least.
So where do you go to get that really cool experience? This is literally the first film in all of cinema history where they've filmed this with that 270 panoramic viewpoint.
Mm.
So that would be a cool experience to see this movie and see when like the Hulk is falling down from there and the debris is falling. What is also they filmed around it?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Yeah, I've never seen anything in this before, have you?
No.
And I think it
Mm.
would be neat, but it's once again, it's like even the ones before this is like it's just extra. It's not
Mhm.
this is actually made for. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't even know where we live. You and I would have to do some research on where we could go for one of
There's
these.
one place. It's up in the city. It's called Apple Cinemas, and it's not related to Apple like the iPhone. It's
We're talking Buffalo,
Rochester.
Rochester.
Yep, and I actually did take a quick peek. They do have seats open for opening weekend,
This
and
might be the way we go
yeah,
out then.
and it's
We'll talk about it.
specifically Screen X viewings. And
Alright.
part of me is like, I am tempted after our family night when we're planning on watching it anyways, then maybe for the second viewing. So
See it
so
there.
we don't get too distracted in case it is
Yeah,
distracting,
yeah.
but at
It's a
least
good
to
second
see
viewing
it.
experience for the
Yep.
first time. So I got to tell you, I've had bad experiences watching movies in new formats, not knowing what the format was.
Yep,
And I
I
wish
can
I
vouch for
did
that.
know. Mission Impossible, the last one, is the perfect example. Great movie, awesome franchise, awesome ending. Don't care what anybody says on the internet, it's fantastic. I happened to watch it in like, I don't know what the Regals thing is. It's like a something.
4DX.
Yeah, 4DX. And it was like very distracting
Mm,
because I wasn't prepared for what it was.
mm,
And I
yeah.
thought it was just, a little movement, maybe some mist. They had a lot of fun. I mean, this is like, it's like a ride. And it's like, whoa, there's a lot going on here.
Mm,
And I can see it being enjoyed that way, but maybe not the first time when I want to lock in.
yep.
My best so far, the Phantom, when we went to watch Fantastic Four, that was almost perfect.
Oh,
A little
that
bit of
was
movement in the
great. Yep.
seats, and just enough to, it was still a big screen,
Mhm.
yeah, and we also watched Infinity War in 3D
Now that's my
the second
example.
time, and that was a great time, but it would have been distracting the first time, though.
For me, it was distracting watching it, so I'm
Yeah.
glad when we saw Infinity War, we saw it in our local theater, which didn't have any of the 3D stuff and all the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
It was just you're watching the screen. Because there are parts of we saw it in IMAX 3D, so he had to wear the glasses and everything for it. And there were parts of that movie I got so distracted that I'm like, I'm so thankful that there are certain scenes I couldn't even see properly because
Yeah.
it was so new to me. I'm glad it was my second viewing of it. That way I knew at least what was going on and tried to get the best out of it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. It was still good.
it was very
Yeah,
good.
I just
Yes,
wouldn't have
but
wanted it to be the first time,
oh
not
yes,
knowing
hands
what we're
down.
getting.
Yeah.
But the other part of this story here is, yeah, this is your way around IMAX. You gotta use other technology then, guys. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to figure this out because you can't just use what you're gonna normally use for IMAX and just throw a different name on it. If
Exactly.
you're gonna you need to use things that isn't IMAX. This isn't IMAX. IMAX doesn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different kind of way of doing it, and it's another way to throw it out there, and you're gonna have people go see it this way.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you might even start a new trend. Maybe you should start doing most of your movies with some of these options
Mm-hmm.
because why not? To me, it's like, why haven't we been using ScreenX more? If that's the case. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
actually, IMAX is cool. Don't get me wrong, guys. IMAX is fantastic, but this ScreenX could be a real fun kind of way to watch it, a movie, if
Yeah.
without in doing it for ScreenX and
Yeah.
not just adding things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think we should watch it the second time like that.
Yeah, and we're not being promoted by ScreenX to say all this.
No,
We were just looking up,
never
and
used it.
we were like, "Oh, this is making cinema history for filming it exactly this way." And I'm like, "Well, put two and two together. You can't go see it in IMAX, which is everyone's default our way of, we're gonna go see a good experience like this type thing." But this is a format they made specifically for it that you can get on opening night.
Right.
So why not try it out if this is your first time trying it out? You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, what do you think? Are you going to now have we persuade you enough to say, hey, let me look up and see if there's any local ScreenXs around me, and maybe I'll purchase a ticket for it. I know I'm very interested in seeing it, at least for a second time viewing in something like this, just to get a new experience and see what the hubbub is about. So, what do you think about it, guys? Let us know in the comments below. All right, I'm gonna start us off of our last topic of
Oh
our
boy,
multiverse
this is a
minute,
big one.
and we're gonna get right into this guy because yeah, this is a big deal. Now, this isn't a specifically Marvel or DC or comic book topic, but it is within somewhere in this medium because we do have games that are like the Wolverine PS5 that's coming out soon, and Spider-Man PS4 and Spider-Man 2 PS5, and they're gonna keep coming out with all these things because they're fantastic things, you know? So, Sony PlayStation is in the news for two reasons. One, the announcement that on 2028, January 2028 onwards, there will be no more physical media. And then the second thing is, within their terms and conditions, it's been revealed that any inactive account for 3 years or longer will be irreversibly terminated, including all the content you've purchased in it, too.
Mm.
So, I mean, I have two initial thoughts of this, and I do want to hear Ike's deep dive. So, do you want to start off and then I just go from there, or do you want me to give my two thoughts and then you go from there?
Why don't you give your 2 thoughts? Because I'd definitely go off on a couple things a little
Okay.
bit, but I'd like to hear what you got to say because maybe I can help out with a lot of it.
Yeah, totally. Then I could just purely react to whatever you're saying too and everything. So the first thing is I'm going to start off with the last thing that it said here, the terms and conditions. Now, from my understanding, this has been there for a while. It's just, whenever you turn on something new or even you update your phone and it has you go through the terms and conditions, you just bypass everything and press agree. Maybe sometimes we should be reading some of that stuff because you're saying I agree, but what are you agreeing to? And I know it's pages. It's like 200 pages. And you're like, this is crazy. I just want to play a video game. But it, I think this is coming to light because of all the other controversy that's out there on Sony PlayStation right now. So everything under the sun is going to be revealed. All is revealed.
Yeah.
And this one was. This is typical. The 3 years inactive, not logging in, and then your account being terminated. I recently found out, I guess Xbox does the same thing, but I'm just telling you as a general thing, this is normal because these companies have all these hard drives, they have all these systems in play to make sure your account is running functionally.
Mhm.
And if you're not using your account, it's something that my mom has always said to me for a long time. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And that's so true. I'm sure it's the same way if you never log into Netflix for 3 or 4 years, it's probably not gonna be there anymore because they're not gonna keep a profile there that's inactive. I don't know that specifically for Netflix, but I'm just saying, this is like I feel like that's common sense.
Yeah.
If you have a PlayStation account and you have and a PlayStation, and I get it, life gets busy. Simply just turn on your PlayStation, press the login button in your system update, and then turn it off. And it keeps that from ever becoming an issue.
Yes, 3 years not touching your PlayStation is a long time.
It is, yes, and that is an expensive device right there, and it's a lot for them on the backside to keep it up to date. So I get it. They got servers all over the place. They're not going to keep your ID that you played 3 or 4 games and then decide to quit it later and for like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, they're not going to keep all that stuff like that. So that's the first part. The second part is the physical media. That does upset me. And that upsets me for a couple of reasons. When we buy a movie, no matter what the heck goes on in the world, I could plug in my DVD player, plug it into my TV, and enjoy the movie I purchased. And it's not mine like I own every bit of it, but it's mine where I can watch it anytime I want, however many times I want. So I have already a couple years ago personally surrendered to the idea that maybe I won't be buying games. I'll just start downloading them. But I am quickly going to go back to what I was before because I don't want to not have the option of having that. And if they decide that there's a problem with the game and they want to fix it or get rid of it, I now lose that game that I spent $80 for because they have the right to take off that game off your PlayStation. And not having the physical media where you could, no matter what they decide to do, you can always go back and play that game and that version of it. The best example I'm going to give is a Spider-Man PS4 game. When that game first came out, Spider-Man looked a specific way. They had a specific actor who did all that stuff. They did a remastered version of it, completely changed Peter Parker's look, completely did. And you can't download that older version before. But if you bought it, you still can play it. Now, it's a minor little thing. It's like, oh, they just switched motion capture actors, whatever. But the thing is, if it was something else or something a little more important, then to you personally, then you now are stripped of your options without the physical version. So that's just the first thing that comes to my head on all this stuff. And I hate to see this part of that medium go away because everything is so digital nowadays. Even we have all these streaming sites. I don't even buy movies anymore because odds are it's on the streaming site somewhere. The only movies I still buy is Marvel movies because they're Marvel. I have a personal passion for them, so I'll invest the 20 to 30 extra bucks for the Steelbook version and all that.
Mhm.
And I'm glad they still have that and they haven't decided to get rid of that. Yeah. And that's another thing. Sony owns Blu-ray. Sony made Blu-ray. So if they do decide, hey, we're not going to spend the money to make this Blu-ray version of the movie that you love because we're not getting those sales anymore, this thing that I love to collect will be a thing of the past. And that worries me. And it's going to start with the video games of all things. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on that. Ike, why don't you take it away?
So I did some reading up on some of this too because I'm like, how can I relate this to the movies? Because I'm not a big gamer. I have played some the Spider-Man ones. You know, I am playing some. And I think it's all related. It's all art, right? The whole, even games, video games, some movies. This idea of what's happening. First of all, it's already been happening. The place that,
Hmm.
yes. So the place that was holding some of the digital media for PlayStation lost its licensings already. And there's a ton of like big movies that are just gone. Even if you purchase them on the PlayStation Network, they're gone.
Hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, if you bought any of the Terminator movies on PlayStation, you no longer have them anymore.
Even so when you buy it on PlayStation, does it download to your PlayStation? But it's gone from your PlayStation.
Because it still streams from the internet, from their thing. That's how that's
From
exactly
their servers.
yeah.
Mm.
So
That's crappy.
With streaming, we kinda come to this agreement too, because I remember when there wasn't streaming. I remember when Netflix was new, and I'm like, "What the hell is this thing?"
Yeah, when it was a DVD
Yeah,
rental.
and it was yeah,
Right?
which was still it's still kinda neat, right? And we've all understood, though, how streaming works. We pay a certain amount of money for thousands of options of movies at this point, right? And we understand that there's some that are on there that will eventually leave and new ones will come on. And they've even started making their own content that never leaves.
Mhm,
But we are not agreeing to that specific movie. We're agreeing to the platform of giving us movies to watch. So streaming's fine. I have no actually I actually like this time of streaming. I've been able to see more things that I wouldn't have been able to see and afford to see all the stuff I've watched, because I watch a ton of movies, guys. Marvel's not my only gig. I love all movies, and I can't afford to buy all these movies and or rent them at the time,
mhm,
yeah, or go to the theater to see them. So there's times where I'm thankful for streaming because okay, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a movie that doesn't deserve that kind of money, right? So streaming's nice. I'm already paying for the platform. There it is. Sweet. I'm going to watch this movie, and sometimes it just works out that way. So I don't got a problem with any of that. That's all fine. And they didn't promise me that in streaming they're never going to take Terminator off of Netflix. That's not part of the agreement. I've actually remembered now it's been on there and off twice. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So it's just a license as it goes back and forth with those. But with this kind of thing, these things are going to be gone. They're just going to be gone, whether you purchase them or not. So that's the other side of it is without being able to have the physical media, you are basically buying digital means you're ultimately renting, really, because ultimately in the end, it's not up to you whether that thing works or not. Because if the internet shuts down and we're sitting here bored, we
Mhm.
could still put Batman the video game in and play.
Yep.
But if the internet shuts down and we're bored and we don't have physical media for it and it's all codes and stuff, we can't play it now.
Mhm.
So it's like, what the hell? GTA 6 is gonna be the first. I don't know if it's gonna be the first, but it's gonna be one of them, one of the bigger ones
One of the first
that's
major
gonna be
ones.
no yeah, one of the first major ones that's gonna be no disc.
Mhm.
And it's like, I mean, they're already making the PS5 Slims with no disc port in them at all.
Mhm.
Like, they're committing to this, it's happening.
Yep.
That's some of the problem I have with it, where it's like, it seems to be you know how much they're charging you for GTA 6? $100. Can you imagine? It's gonna be a big expensive game because it's a big expensive game to make. It's
Big
one of the
IP.
bigger
Yep.
ones they got, and I'm actually looking forward to playing it. I mean, I think it's cool. I like to see that open world stuff. It's fun, go around and stab a few hookers, have a good time, right? GTA is good for those kind of things, just to screw around, or looking for bears. Or I like that they put Bigfoot in them. You got to find them. All the GTA ones, except for like the first three, got Bigfoot in them. You just got to find them. It's awesome. But anyways, and they're funny and they're fun and they're entertaining, right?
Mhm.
But you're gonna limit now when I can and can't play it, and it's gonna be up to you. Say your stuff crashes, man. Like, we still wanna be able to use these things, these discs, I and
Mhm.
there's something about owning something that you pay if I'm gonna pay $100, I don't want a code, I
Mhm.
wanna have a case with a CD that I can put this in and play this game whenever I want to.
Yep.
And, hey, if the internet's down, I just can't play online right now.
Mhm.
Cool, whatever. At least I can still play the game.
Mhm.
But that's gonna be gone. And then to me, that is definitely an issue. And the other part of another part of small part of this that is a problem is streaming things when you buy movies online, digital, or these games, all that stuff is never gonna look as good. Like, your best internet provider with the best streaming that you can get in the world right now still will never look as good and well intended as an actual physical disc can make it look still.
Mhm.
That is really the truth.
Yeah.
And I know there might be people out there in the tech industry that people would argue that, but I'm telling you, I've been listening and reading a bunch of people that know more about it than I do, and they say the same thing. It's yeah, your other issue is your quality of this is gonna now it's limited. So if your art needs to be seen a certain way, you're not gonna get the good, beautiful Blu-ray that Blu-ray can do if you're not playing it on the Blu-ray player.
Mhm.
And if it's streaming, you're not gonna get it like that anyways.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up that the non-disc version of the consoles, because when the PlayStation 5 came out, you had 2 versions you could get, the disc or the non-disc, and the disc one was $100 more, but for me, because I do have Blu-ray and all that stuff, I don't have a Blu-ray player. I use my PlayStation
PlayStation.
because it plays DVD, Blu-ray, and the games. It's the best. If I'm gonna spend money, I might as well get something really good that can handle all of it, and I get the PS4 Pro can handle the 3D Blu-ray. Like it goes up from there, or the 4K Blu-ray, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So I don't like the idea that like PS6 onward is going to be discless, because how am I going to be able to watch the movies I already have? I'd have to buy a Blu-ray.
It's a
And at that point, are they still making Blu-rays? You know,
Yeah, and they're
that's
not cheap.
yeah.
They're not. And you have to buy it online digitally. See, it's a scam.
What surprises me about this, and I'm just going to use this as an example from me as you're saying this,
Yeah.
because you talked about how if you bought like Terminator as an example on PlayStation, and then there was an issue with the licensing, so they removed it from your PlayStation,
Gone.
and you spent $20 on it. Let's just
Probably,
say,
yeah.
whatever. For iTunes, I know it's a different company, different medium, or whatever. There's an artist that I like that for some reason is not on iTunes anymore. Like all of her stuff is completely gone. But because I already had bought the albums, I could pull up on my phone right now, and I still have them downloaded on my phone. I can still listen to them. They haven't like pulled it off my phone. I'm surprised it's not the same way for the movies. I really am, because that's the thing. You buy this. I'm expecting, okay, it's downloaded onto my account or onto my system or onto my whatever, and I can watch it anytime I want. So, are you really owning it? Are you really buying it then?
Physical media is the only way you actually own it.
That
It's
is
the only way.
crazy.
But it's yeah, it's
Yeah.
true, yeah. It is crazy.
Because you're
That's what you're
spending
gonna
the
see
same
back.
amount of
Yeah.
money for them. You might as well be getting the physical version of these. The DVDs that they're not making really anymore. Might as well just get that version.
So, and let's look at it another way too. Let even put it in like terms like that we even kind of have dealt with, or me personally. You are now taking a risk of taking a whole demographic of people that play your games and making it harder for them to enjoy your stuff.
Mhm.
Because one thing that this is going to, I mean, I'm sure on their store for the digital stuff, they'll still have sales and things, but you're not going to get the type of sale that you can get when you go buy a used game at a used game store, like a GameStop or
Mhm.
like these little mom and pop ones.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, there's people that can't afford these games that way, other than any other way but
Other than
that.
the used ones, the
I've
pre-owned.
gone up to we have a local one that's in Mount Morris, and I go in there, and they're used, and, I mean, I know it might sound like, "Well, you shouldn't, that's real low anyway," but they have a couple good games in there that I can get for a good 15 bucks
Mhm.
and be like, "Cool, I can do a $15 game." I can't do $100 for GTA right now, let alone one that's not gonna give me its copy.
Mhm.
You know, I'll go there, the last game I bought was there for 15 bucks,
Yeah.
and it was a fairly newer game that had been used, and it
Mhm.
was cool, though, and I'm like, "Sweet, I can play this now." And, you know, it's like, so you're you're gonna go on PlayStation, and they're gonna have a sale for that game, but you know it's not gonna be no $15 to them. If you're charging us $100 for some of these games now, anyway, I mean, I'm telling you, these new games come out, they're gonna be anywhere from I nothing's gonna be under 70, and it's gonna
Oh,
probably up as
yeah.
high as 100, right?
Yep.
And your deal's gonna be probably 30 bucks, which is what they would be if I went to Walmart right now and bought a brand new copy. Is 60 at Walmart is a
Mhm.
brand new copy of a game, 69.99.
Yeah.
Actually, I just looked at it the other day. And then at Walmart, every once in a while, you got like a shelf that's got like 7 games on it that are old, and the cheapest one there's 19.99.
Mhm.
Well, I can't afford that sometimes too. Let's go see what GameStop's got. Let's go see what the little mom and pop shop's got. Oh, hey, we got 2 here for $12.99. They're a little older. You know, they're not newest games, but you've never played them because you couldn't afford them then. I can pick them up now. You're now going to make it so people aren't going to be able to do that anymore.
Well, while you're on that exact point, this is one of the things that kind of bugged me when the Spyro Reignited trilogy came out a few years ago, and be like, "Oh, this is whatever." Just listen to me, guys. I love Spyro. You love
Yeah,
Spyro,
awesome.
and hearing that they're putting it on the PS4, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's cool. Updated graphics. I was all for it. I still play that game nowadays, anyways. But after I got it, it took like half a day to download the data, and I had the disc to download the data and the updates for it on the day it was released. And I'm like, you know what you're doing to your people, that your customers that may not even be able to afford internet.
That's right. They're struggling, but this is their little bit of piece that they get.
This is
It's
the
like,
little fun that they could
Yep.
give their kids on their Christmas night, to give them a PlayStation with a game, physical game that they right there in front of everyone can plug in, turn on, press play, and start playing right there. And doesn't take half a day, and they don't have to rely on Wi-Fi in order to play a game you physically bought. Eliminating that whole aspect, making it harder for those that are in the poverty level, your working class, blue collared people that are still trying to make ends meet with the normal, how hard it is to live out there. And the one piece that they can have with their kid at night is playing Nintendo or playing Spider-Man PS4. And now you won't be able to do that.
yeah.
What are you doing?
It's way. I mean, if you're going to do it digitally, you got to drop the price.
Oh,
You have
yes.
to.
You have to. There has to be a give or take somewhere,
'Cause if
guys.
you're going to save money on not having to make the physical stuff anymore, then you need to help us be able to buy your product. You can't say, look, hey, we're going to look all the money we're going to save on GTA 6 because we're not going to make them, but we're still going to charge you $100. It's like, wait a minute, I can't afford $70 one, let alone $100.
Or better yet, guys, if you want to do like a fine compromise in the middle, because we don't see your numbers. We don't see when you're looking at your finance committees and Sony and all that. And you're like, well, we made like 1,000 units, just throwing this out there as an example, of physical media, and only 100 of them sold. So we're actually losing money on that. Okay, I understand you have to make a budget, make ends meet. But at least allow that to still be, if you pre-order the game, you could get the physical version because it's a guaranteed sale.
Yeah.
Something of that degree to keep these mom and pop stores still open, that are still promoting you and all your stuff, even though you're charging a buttload for it. And yeah, the best of both worlds.
Right. Put it this way. Morgan and I, my daughter and I, we're excited for this new GTA 6 game. We really are. And more than normal. We're like, you know what? This actually looks really cool. A lot of fun. We can't wait to see what the new things they do in the next, all those cool places you can go and all it. It's just neat. You've done a great job with these games. And we were like, okay, when this game comes out, it's going to be a little expensive, but let's get it and let's enjoy it. And I said, we'll get it brand new. It might be pretty expensive. Then I heard it was $100. I was like, whew. And her and I were talking. She goes, well, if we save up, we can still get it. I'm like, yeah, let's plan on still getting it. Now I know I got to do it digitally. Now we're not. I'm not going to give you $100 for a code on a game system. I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wait till it's on sale someday. So that means your initial, how'd the game do when it got released? I'm no longer included in giving you that. Me personally, that's one. But you know what? I know there's more, and it's just, good luck, PlayStation. You're going to see a drop in some of it. You're just going to, you're saving money, but now I promise you that the only people that are going to be able to afford what you're doing are the hardcores that have the money.
Yep.
Which might still be profitable. You're not going anywhere. I'm not saying it's going to ruin your company, but I am going to say you are going to lose top dog status.
You're taking the pond and you're making it into smaller puddles now, because your average customer that you could have that was doing it for fun and enjoyment like we used to back in the 90s and the early 2000s, they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You've weeded them out of your conversation and your product.
And then to go even further, and this is where I'm going to get on a pedestal for a second, and maybe I'm even wrong and out of touch, but there's a fellow podcaster that I heard talk about some of this stuff as well, and I had already had the thoughts. I started writing it down, and when he was saying it, it validated my thoughts, and he even said more that I'm going to add to it. But what this also is doing is you are culturally changing something that I think even us as human beings moving forward, no matter what we do with AI or how we make things easier or accessible, I understand we're all getting to that spot that's weird, right? It's like we're eventually going to be eating a pill like the Matrix soon, and we're turning into the world of Wally, if we're not careful. And I don't think we want that, because I think that's not profitable in the long run. Because even in the sci-fi versions of the fakeness of, "Oh, that's impossible," it's usually after a collapse of society, and I think that that's a warning that in all of our culture that we should take. And I'm not saying what you're doing is gonna collapse society, but hear me out. There's like a ritual that would be said, and why I'm talking about this so passionately is because, okay, sure, with the video game part of it, I can go the rest of my life, never play a video game, be a happy guy. I'm not a gamer, you know, but I do love my movies, and it's gonna start affecting that because it already is. I mean, look at the little bit of choices we have, movies we can buy physical when we go to buy them,
Yep.
and you gotta get them online, and they're like $40, and it's like, "Oh my god," it's ridiculous. So there's some movies I love that I'm never gonna have physical, that I would love the physical and have them copied because that's just how you use collectibles, is what you like to do. It's human nature to be that way, guys, and digital doesn't make that collectible thing a thing. But the ritual of, like, going to the movie store on a Friday and picking out the Friday blockbuster, going home, making popcorn, getting the pizza, getting the tape out, making sure it's rewound, or get the disc out, make sure no one who had it before smudged it, put it in, everybody sit down, you get the lights and you watch it, your surround sound system comes on, the stuff that you put together that you made for this, equate that to, like, what they did with music. When you have the record and you open up the record and you rip the thing out, you smell the vinyl, you put it down on everything, you set the needle. There's like a ritual that happens culturally that's kind of like, it gives like it's like a way of, like a rite of passage into this thing that I'm getting into. And when you do this like you're doing it now and make it so it is so fleeting and so quick and easy, and then also not really the consumers anymore, that we are at your behest, are we only going to enjoy this? When I bought a CD and I put it in my CD player to listen to an album, I didn't have to worry about that CD company not having their servers up for that album to play. It just played because I bought it. And there's also the having the CD player, the setting up the speakers, putting the right tone, all of that is it's a thing, it's cathartic. And you're taking that away, you're diminishing what it means for this art to be art. And you're gonna make it not as worth as much, or you're gonna make it worth not as much by diminishing it this way. Because kids are gonna grow up, guys, where it's just gonna be like, why can't I just put in a few numbers and I have what I wanna have? It's
Mhm.
like, that's just not. And maybe it's just because 'cause we're old school and that's how the world's turning, and that might be the truth. I still don't like it, and I still think it's dumb, and I won't ever give in or partake to it in the sense that you want me to. I'm not saying I'll never buy a game digital, but you're not getting my $100 for GTA 6 because
Yep.
not without I want a steel bookcase of that sumbitch at $100. You know what I mean? Like, and I you're just changing the fundamental reasoning, and I miss the days of, like, Hollywood Video,
Mhm.
I miss the smell of that I just miss all of that.
The
And
experience,
I get it,
yeah.
things change and it's for the better. I don't see this being for the better.
Yeah.
I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. I think you're saving money, you're cutting corners, you're trying to be hip and new, and you're trying to go with this new digital age that we have. But I think what you're gonna find out, like they found out in the music industry, is we're gonna fight back like we are now. Because what's happening right now in music stuff that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people would have thought you were crazy. But vinyl's getting huge again.
I was thinking about that.
Huge. I cannot believe the selection of vinyl at Walmart. At Walmart,
Mhm.
there's like 2 little racks of CDs they probably had since the '80s. You know? Like, and then they got a whole row of just vinyl. You could buy record players. Now there's stores opening up with different because people have come back. You know what? We miss it. We like it. We want it like that. And the artists themselves and the company, the production people, the producers know that that's where the money's at, and they're making them to get bought. So what you think you're doing is cool and hip and all that, you're gonna have those same kind of people are gonna be like, "No, no, no. We want the old school nostalgic. We like that. We want that." Your hardcore gamers, they wanna blow in that cartridge and put it in, hope it works. They love it. They live for it.
Yeah.
I know these guys. I have had friends like that. I get it. That's what they want, and if you guys think that they don't, you're just mistaken. This will be cool for a while. There might even be a spike on some things. You're still going to lose some stuff, but mark my words, 40 years, 10 years, 20 years, 6 years, somewhere along the line, the demand for it's going to come back around and you're going to wish you were making them. And then you're going to might be scrambling to make some,
Mhm.
and it's going to be a little too late. And then you're gonna have these ridiculous prices on them because you're used to the $100 digital. You're not gonna go backwards, so now they're gonna be $160 for physical media.
Yep.
This is just, you're really making it. I just think you're moving too fast. PlayStation, keep it easy, simple, man. Sit back, say, "Hey, man, they like our physical media." Not only when they give you physical media, but you're all gonna get a free poster in it too when you buy it for the $99 that we're gonna charge you. You're gonna get what you're worth, and it's like, and it's if that's my thoughts on this whole thing. I
Mhm.
think it's dumb. I look at PlayStation, I wag my finger. I'm like, you're becoming part of the problem. But we will show it to you, just like we did with music. We're gonna show it to you now. CDs are starting to make a somewhat of a comeback online.
Mm.
There's you can go online right now and you like look up, hey, you know what? I want to get some of the old albums I like to listen to on CD again. And you can find them and they've caught on and they're getting expensive again. And once they start getting expensive like that, someone's gonna say, "Hey, all it's gonna take is one artist, one new artist. Taylor Swift's next album is like, what would be kind of cool? I kind of do like a retro kind of album and release it on CD again. And
There you
boom,
go.
you're
Yep.
right back to where you started, and you're gonna wish you didn't do it. That's
Yep.
how it's gonna happen.
You're exactly right. You are exactly right. I am personally shocked at the phenomena of the vinyls that are out there.
Huge.
Yeah, they have whole sections, like, in our local Walmarts dedicated now to
Yep.
vinyl records that when I was growing up, I barely saw any except for what my mom and dad had in the corner of their
And it's
living room.
accessible and affordable.
Yes.
I go to a lot of music festivals to bands that aren't huge. There are more like regionally local, like big, like they're big enough to go around the country still and do festivals, but they're not, on the charts or nothing.
Yeah.
And I go to their table for their merch and they're making vinyl for us to buy and they're selling it to us for like $20.
Mhm.
It's like, so how much are they paying to have that made that they can afford the $20 to come still do gigs like this?
Yep.
So it's affordable for people like me that can't afford that real expensive stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, it's you're gonna
I
you're
missed
gonna
the
find that it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna be sustainable.
I miss the days of pre-ordering a PS3 game from GameStop so I could get 5, I know they're codes, but 5 bonus feature things of different outfits for my Tekken
That's right.
characters and all that stuff, and just the whole ritual of going to get it and buying it, opening it up on the car ride home and seeing the disc and looking at the insert booklet and getting the whole book that's comes with it that's for the game codes and all that, or not codes, but the game pictures and artwork and all that stuff. I got a stack of them downstairs of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games of
That's cool.
Tekken.
That's cool.
That's the game book. It's like thicker than my Bible. It's huge, and you open it up, there's a huge character right there. I'm like, that's just that part of that physical media that you won't be able to get anymore now.
Yeah, it's part it is and sure, there's not a lot of value in this ritual thing that we're talking about, but it's the experience of the art of the thing that you're doing,
Well,
whether it's a video game or a movie.
to some kid out there, that's all they got for
Yeah,
their enjoyment. And now you're depriving them of something like that we took for granted when
yeah.
we were kids, now in retrospect.
The last thing I got to say about this is to Mr. John Campia, who has always been likes the digitally, has a whole digital library. It's like, you let me know how it goes when you have to go to Rob to borrow a movie
Mm,
because you're not going to have it.
yeah, because Rob is a big
Yeah.
collector
And like, I'm
of
not
them.
saying it's
Yeah.
happening yet, but the day's going to come where you're going to be like, damn, I can't turn that on because the company or whoever I bought this from or whoever is streaming this for me because I bought it no longer supports it. And
Mhm.
Rob's going to have the 3 steelbooks of it and you can go borrow it.
Yeah,
So just
right?
letting you know, like, and that's just, when I'm at home, my daughter and I were sitting the other day, we had the power go out. I'm like, man, what are we gonna do? It was out for like 4 hours. Remember the day it was out for 4 hours the other
Mhm.
day? It was some heat index thing, whatever. Someone just decided to flip a switch. Who knows? So we were sitting there and we had a portable DVD player that was battery powered.
I was thinking
And
of that too.
we put a movie in a disc in a portable DVD player.
Screen this big.
Battery power. Yep. We huddled right up. We got a bag of chips and we sat there waiting for the power to come back on watching the movie.
Yep.
Can't do that with
No.
this thing. You can't do that.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, you can't beat those. And we had a great time.
Mhm.
You're just taking away from what how far we've come with art and all this whole thing, guys. So
Yep.
that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Hopefully it makes sense, and
All right, guys, comment down below and let us know what you think of this whole predicament. Do you agree with anything that Sony is saying? Do you have some common sense solutions that you think that they should be doing? And what do you think of my brother's assertion on this? And do you think that, like what he and I thinks, this will bleed into other mediums if it continues on this way? So comment below and let us know your thoughts. All right. Well, that goes our multiverse minute of the week. Where are we on to next now, Ike?
we're gonna run right into some rumors, guys. This one will go nice and quick for you, but we'll have a good time. We got a few things to talk about. Just things that who knows if it's true or not. So we're gonna skip right over to the rumor mill rundown. Let's see what we got to say.